Okay, let's dive into your stack of sources on B2K. Iconic early 2000s boy band.
Yeah.
We're here to sort of unpack their journey, the rise, the challenges, what they left behind, see what jumps out.
Well, what's really compelling, and you see it in these sources, is it's way more than just like the catchy songs and the dances we remember.
Right.
It's a real look at the crazy pressure of fame, how complicated relationships get under that spotlight, and what happens when this huge thing that defined you just ends.
Absolutely. Let's paint that picture. Early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Music's buzzing, dances, everything.
Totally.
And producer Chris Stokes pulls together Omarion, Razzie B, Lil Fizz, J Boog. These sources, they really point out how distinct they each were.
Yeah, definitely. Omarion's smooth vocals, Razzie, like pure energy.
Lil Fizz with the humor and the sharp moves.
Yeah.
J Boog's enthusiasm and range.
And they just clicked with you, the audience, immediately. Through songs like Bump, Bump, Bump.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
And Girlfriend. Stuff that just spoke directly to, being a teenager.
And that connection.
Yeah.
It just catapulted them fast. The sources talk about how quickly they became this pop culture thing.
Mm-hmm. Huge tours, those electric performances, always on TV, like a 106 in the park.
Everywhere.
But yeah, as they hit those highs, the material definitely shows the other side. The less glamorous part, pressure's building up behind the scenes.
Right. Constant touring, always needing new music, keeping up that perfect image.
Yeah.
It's clear from the sources it took a real toll.
A huge toll.
I was struck by how the sources mentioned like early tensions, creative differences maybe.
Yeah, that's in there.
But also how demands from like management and the label just added stress onto these, young friendships.
It really highlights that whole business side of music, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not just making art. There's all this planning, these external forces pushing and pulling.
And that can really strain relationships, break them even.
Which, it seems like that dynamic eventually led to that really dramatic split. The sources say fans were genuinely shocked. They were so invested.
They were. But something interesting the sources bring up is how fans dealt with that shock, especially with early social media popping up, like MySpace.
Oh, right.
There was sadness, sure, but also like a lot of humor. Fans making memes, finding ways to kind of process the drama online. It's a cool snapshot of fan culture changing.
And then after the split, each guy had to make that tough shift from being part of B2K to just being themselves, we to I.
Yeah.
The sources track those individual paths. Omarion finding solo success, music, acting, business stuff.
J Boog moving into songwriting, production. Lil Fizz doing reality TV, kind of sharing his post-fame life.
And Razzie focusing on really important work with mental health awareness after his own struggles.
Yeah.
These solo journeys, tough as they were, let them show different sides, connect maybe more personally with fans online, move beyond that boy band label.
It really underscores that struggle for like individual identity after being part of something so defining for so long.
But what's really interesting is the story didn't end there, did it?
Yep.
The sources point to how time, plus that powerful nostalgia boosted online, set the stage for the 2019 reunion tour.
Summer Lamb tour, yeah.
And it wasn't just a simple let's get back together. The sources suggest it was complex business realities, reliving the past, trying to navigate those old dynamics again.
Tricky. So beyond the hits and the drama, what's their legacy? According to these sources, it's pretty significant.
Yeah, they definitely broke ground, especially for Black and Latino artists and mainstream pop at that time. Influence, style, branding.
And even later, their willingness to talk about vulnerability, that had an impact too. The media played a huge role, obviously building them up, but also magnifying every bit of friction.
Absolutely. Yeah. So ultimately, the B2K story is this powerful look at the highs, the lows, the reality of the music biz, and just the resilience you need to navigate all that while basically growing up in public. It's a journey with real tension, but also, some unexpected funny moments too.
It resonates, I think, because it taps into things we all kind of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Intense friendships, pressure, finding your own way after something big ends.
Yeah, it shows those lessons you learn under pressure, especially about communication and growth. They stick with you.
So here's something for you to think about. In your own life, when has a journey with others ended, but then revealed some pretty profound lessons about your own growth, and maybe showed you unexpected ways connections can last, or even come back around?